Hello everyone, thanks for joining today. I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to be working on this card that I made for the Home Sweet Home Challenge, sponsored by Lawn Fawn, and the wonderful Tammy Stark. So the idea of this card is to create a place that reminds you of home. So I created this card of Texas, and basically what you see me doing here is I used the Sending Hedgehog stamp set, and I am taking my cloth and I am removing all of the spines of the hedgehog, but leaving the bottom because I wanted to turn these into armadillos. And this is actually my favorite element of the stamp, so I'm excited to show you how I did it. Basically, I took my gray colors of my alcohol markers, and you'll see me kind of bring in the color, and I just wanted to create that armadillo shape. So I'm taking my pink here, giving them a little color on the nose. Bring in my grays here. I started with a nice cool gray to give it a nice shade on the bottom. And then you can kind of still see the outline of the spines, which helped me make my shape. So I'm just following that with this cool gray. And now I'm just going to come in with a darker tone here and just kind of outline the armadillo a little bit more. So covering its face and the feet. And now I'm just going to give it a few stripes. Decided to do 3. Maybe 4. And now I'm going to come in with my darkest tone here and just kind of outline that even further, make them a little darker, more armadillo-like. And off screen, you won't see this, but I took a micron pen and I just outlined the body of the armadillo to kind of redefine it like the stamp. And that was just really easy. It's just kind of to make it make more sense when I use the die to cut it out. And this is the final look of the armadillos. They are so cute, and I just love them. I love how I turned that hedgehog into an armadillo. So now I'm going to take these distress inks here, and I'm going to make my blue background. And basically what I wanted this to mimic was the Texas bluebonnets, and they are so pretty in the summer when they all just bloom. I remember we would take pictures and it was just really beautiful. So I wanted to kind of recreate that memory, and I'm taking my distress inks here and just laying down a coat. Initially I was going to do kind of a stippling, but then you'll see me just kind of blend these colors together. I wanted a nice dark rich background because I am going to be doing pointillism with my markers. So now you just see me give up on that stippling technique, and I'm just really coating the ink here. Now I'll come in with some blueprint sketch and just give it a bit of a darker tone. And then I'm going to bring in my alcohol markers and actually stipple each individual little dot. It's a labor of love, people. So I am going to speed this up a little bit. It did take a while to do this, but basically it's really simple. All you do is you take your alcohol marker. I did end up using the chisel tip of my markers because I wanted a larger dot. And basically this is all you do. You just make a bunch of dots, and I brought in several colors here just to fill it out. And again, I'm just continuing the process here. I brought in some purples, and you'll see me bring in some greens as well. I just wanted it to be really full and really rich, like it was just an entire field of beautiful flowers. So now we're going to move on to the Simply Stitched hillsides, which I used in a green. And then I'm also using the grassy border here to cut out the blue bonnets as well, just to give it a little bit more visual interest. And here's what both of those images look like cut out. And now I'm just going to take the cloudy stencil here and I'm going to lightly coat my card with some beautiful fluffy clouds. And I really love this stencil. I use it all the time and it just gives the card such a depth and such just a visual interest. It's really beautiful. And now you can kind of get a sneak peek of how this is going to look. I'm really excited with the way it's turned out so far. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some stamps from the Oh Gnome stamp set, and I'm basically just using the flowers here, and I'm going to mimic the look of the bluebonnets. So the way I did this was pretty similar to the way I did the field initially. I basically just colored my flowers in blue, and then I stippled them with some purples. And I also took this white gel pen and I really liked the look of having these tiny little dots. It just gave it more texture, more interest. And I did the same on the flowers as well. So I thought that was a nice touch. So now what I ended up doing was I took some glitter glue and I'm just stippling that on there as well. I just wanted to give it a really nice shine and a really nice texture. And then you'll see on the clouds above, I ended up splattering some blue ink as well as some gold speckles just to give it even more interest. Now I'm going to take that stitched hillside that I cut earlier and I'm going to just ink over it with some beautiful greens here. Again, just to give it more texture and more interest. And now I nearly have all of my elements ready to go on this card. I'm so excited. I'm just going to cut out all of these little flowers using the coordinating dies here, and I will come back and we will put this thing together. So in addition to the flowers that I cut out, I also cut out the word Texas out of Oliver's stitched ABCs. And I am telling you, these dies are gorgeous on metallic papers. The stitch detailing just shows up so well, it's just gorgeous. So I'm really excited to start getting assembled, and I can't wait for you to see how this card comes together. So just look at those armadillos. Didn't they turn out the cutest? I did end up taking the tails from the Say What Pets. I stamped a cat and actually cut the tail off just to give that armadillo a tail, and then I did the opposite for the other one since it was reverse. I just drew that one out on the back and I glued those on top, and I really just love the way this looked. So now I'm just adding foam squares to these armadillos, popping them up a little bit from the blue bonnets like they're walking around. And I'm just going to bring all the flowers in and all of those beautiful elements that we cut and colored earlier. They're just going to go right on the card, and I'm so excited. So on this word, I did try and layer it to give it more dimension, but I just liked how simple the gold was. So I'm taking those layers off, and I'm going to glue that word right on. And I did end up using a little bit of foam tape for this as well. Because we're in quarantine, you have nothing else to do but put foam tape on tiny letters. So I did that, and then I'm going to glue the flowers on as well. And here is the finished card. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was kind of a long video, but I appreciate you hanging in there. Look at those cute armadillos. I hope you have a great day. Take care and see you soon.